You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
This is the NXT report for Wednesday, September 5th, 2018. I'm Rohan Unruh. Follow me on Twitter at Rohan Unruh. If you're listening to this on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating because we are 5 stars, baby. If you like us on YouTube, give us a big old thumbs up. If you think this was like the Joey Ryan segment on All In and you think it sucks, give us a big old thumbs down. Let's kick it off with Cassius Ohno taking on the finest Kona Reeves. Reeves comes down looking super tanned. Looks like he spent a lot of time in the tanning bed this week. The crowd, for about 3 seconds, starts with a Kona chant. That died a death real quick. You know how in the NXT crowd when Adam Cole gets the crowd to go, Adam Cole, baby? Well, Reeves tried to get the crowd to do that. Or he tried to get the crowd to chant that he's the finest. And about 4 people did. In fact, Cassius met him with a real solid slap to the mush. Reeves hits this double axe handle from the second rope for a 2 count. Reeves tries the Hawaiian drop. Ohno counters really quickly with the rolling elbow smash, and he gets the pin super quick at 1:45. Nothing to this match. It's just a way to progress the storyline that Cassius Ohno is feeling unappreciated and that NXT really has nothing for him. So after the match, Cassius grabs the mic and he says, when I came back to NXT, there was so much buzz until there wasn't. And I became an afterthought, but now I get it. There's always going to be someone new and someone fresh, and whoever that next guy is, if he's got that buzz, I'm not going away. I'm going to be right here. I'm going to be the first to welcome you and knock you to the back of the line. So I guess that's his way of saying he's never going to get called up. We get the tag match of the Forgotten Sons, Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake, and they're accompanied by Jackson Riker, also known in TNA as Gunner. Shout out to Brian. Mauro Ranallo says that these guys have been a team for over 2 years on NXT live events, but they're just making their TV debut today, and they're taking on the Street Profits. And I don't know if there's any act in NXT that has more charisma than the Street Profits. I really love these guys, and I'm hoping for big things for them. The Profits hit a double drop kick, sending for their Forgotten Sons to the outside. Montez Ford takes a drink from his cup. He then stops to squawk. Something like that. And then he runs and hits a beautiful flip dive on both Forgotten Sons on the outside. Cutler blind tags Blake, and he hits this killer lariat to Ford. Now, I don't know what to say about these Forgotten Sons, since I really do like them as well. I feel like they're like a really more sort of badass Sons of Anarchy looking version of the Revival. And they look like pretty big guys, but they're in there with Montez Ford, who's not exactly a super heavyweight. I am glad that they have their names on their tights because I was having a hard time telling these guys apart. They're both, semi-large men with beards and in black sort of pleather. Montez Ford hits a hot tag to Dawkins. Dawkins hits a hot shot on Blake. Cutler sends Dawkins into the steps on the outside. 2 masked men come running down and they steal the Street Profits' cups. How are they going to drink if they have no cups? And it was Dawkins unmasks one of them, and turns out it's Shane Thorne of The Mighty. While Dawkins is distracted, and Riker hits a running clothesline on the floor on Ford, throws him back in the ring. This leaves Ford to take the Forgotten Sons finish, which is some combo reverse DDT curb stomp off of the second buckle to the guts, and the Forgotten Sons pick up the win at 6 minutes and 33 seconds. Cutler busted up his nose pretty badly. He was gushing a lot near the end of this. It's a fun tag match, getting the Sons established. If they were going to do a mystery masked man gimmick, they should have drawn it out for a few more weeks because they already gave the ending away, but perhaps this wasn't meant to be any sort of a long-term storyline. Speaking of long-term storylines, we get the continuation of Commissioner Regal and his lawyer interrogating the locker room on who assaulted Aleister Black. Now, Here he's questioning heavy machinery, and before Regal can even ask a question, Otis just comes clean. He says, "Yep, I did it. I'm the one that did it. I'm sorry. I broke the toilet in the Performance Center," because he gets diarrhea when he drinks a lot of really bad coffee. Regal asks again if they have any other info, and Tucker Knight implies that Ciampa was the only person they saw in the area. So, I don't know, had a bit of a chuckle with the Otis thing. We get a recap of last week's tag team main event with Undisputed Era versus Pete Dunne and Ricochet. There's a backstage confrontation between Dunne and Ricochet, and each of them are blaming the other for the loss. I watched that match last week, and technically I'm going to put the blame on Ricochet since, he was the one that hit his own partner. In 2 weeks, we'll get champion versus champion, Pete Dunne challenging Ricochet. Both titles are on the line. The North American title versus the NXT UK title. We get a video promo for the War Raiders that basically say the era of Undisputed is about to end. So join the raid. Out back in the arena, we get Kairi Sane coming out to unveil a treasure chest that is sitting at the top of the ramp. She opens up the chest, and the NXT women's title is in it. And within this treasure chest is also a bunch of gold coins. She starts throwing coins into the crowd. I thought, what is with these Japanese performers? They have no concept of the value of money. Her and Okada, they just throw money away. They make it rain money. Only, Kairi can't afford, bills. She has to give out coins. She is taking on newcomer Trish Adora. All we know from her is that there's a pretty big size mismatch, and she's a student of the Dudley Boys, and she's been in the military for a couple of years. So Adora tries to outpower Kairi early. There's a series of hair takedowns by Kairi. Big double stomp to Adora's back for a near fall. Kairi just kills her with a spinning back fist, and the speed and velocity at which she just murdered this poor girl. She hits her finishing sequence of sliding clothesline in the corner and just murders her with the insane elbow. She gets the quick win at 2 minutes and 25 seconds. As she is celebrating, Shayna Baszler struts out, and she knocked over the treasure chest. She knocked all her money out. I remember as a kid, I used to have a piggy bank, and it was a great big tall, sort of like a metal tin, and my brother, what a jerk, he came over and he knocked it over, and all my pennies went flying all over the living room floor. It took me minutes to clean that up. So I can understand how she's feeling. All her money get knocked around. Shayna grabs the mic. She says, "Enjoy your pirate fantasy while you can, because I'm going to invoke my rematch clause. Let's see if this pirate can swim." And the two of them attack each other. Shayna gets the brief advantage with a clothesline. Kairi just stands up and no-sells it, like she's Ishii, and she starts outstriking Baszler. Tiny little Kairi Sane is outstriking the former professional mixed martial artist. She hits her with a spear, and Shayna bails. Bails? See what I did there? She bails, B-A-Y-L-Z. That's got to be a shirt. We get another video of Ciampa in the backstage area, filming on I'm guessing on his iPhone. Let's address the elephant in the room. Why hasn't the NXT champ been on TV? Well, in reality, it's because they tape 4 weeks in advance and they haven't put you on. It's because I don't have a number one contender. I am the greatest sports entertainer of all time. And he is a heel just by using that term, sports entertainer. I'm sick and tired of hearing your opinion. He sends a shout out to CM Punk by saying that he doesn't want to be a voice for the voiceless. He's at the top of the food chain. The entire world is listening to the words that I'm saying. Follow the lead of Tommaso Ciampa. Back in the interrogation room, we get William Regal interviewing Lars Sullivan. The lawyer asks Lars a question, and Sullivan just stares the guy down, and the lawyer's like, "Okay, I'm sorry." He just looks down back at his book. Sullivan confirms that he had the intention to take out Aleister Black for breaking his jaw, but by the time he got to him, he was already laid out, and the Undisputed Era was driving away. Regal makes the match of, well, it's not really a match. He sentences Lars Sullivan to murder Raul Mendoza, and we'll see that next week. Main event time. We have Velveteen Dream taking on Johnny Wrestling. Johnny Gargano. Dream comes out sporting a Johnny Failure t-shirt. Basically, it's your standard Johnny Gargano t-shirt with a piece of tape over the word wrestling and failure written on in Sharpie. Velveteen must have got his call from Vince because he didn't have any messages on his tights this week. Gargano comes out. He's super fired up. He's all business. There's some early groundwork by both guys. They're rolling around. Gargano's far more aggressive than what we're used to seeing him as. Dream tries to shoot the single leg. Gargano pushes him off to the outside. Dream gets the heat with a high hot shot. Dream starts working over Gargano in the corner. Velveteen reverses an Irish whip in the corner, and Gargano takes this awkward-looking turnbuckle flip. He kind of flips on his side. I think he was trying the Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair upside-down flip, but he didn't. I guess he didn't make it all the way. So he, crashed and burned. There's a chin lock by Dream. It converts to a sleeper. Gargano comes back with reverse DDT. There's a step up in Sagiri. Gargano hits the outside to inside spear for a near fall. Gargano hits a super kick from the apron and a running blockbuster to the floor. Gargano throws him back in, misses a rolling spin kick, and Dream counters with a Faymasser for a 2. The closing sequence was absolutely awesome. Dream is going for the DVD. Gargano counters into a sunset flip. Big boot by Dream sends Gargano into the ropes. Gargano comes back with a slingshot lariat. Both guys are exchanging kicks on the apron. Dream pushes Gargano into the steps, taking out his knees. So Dream rolls him in, and he hits that weird sort of twisting, looks like a DDT, but almost looks like Sister Abigail for a 2. And when Gargano kicked out, the crowd's just going nuts at this point. Gargano tries a slingshot spear, but he gets caught with a super kick. Dream lays Gargano over the apron and tries the big elbow like he did against EC3 at TakeOver. He missed, and Gargano applied their Gargano escape on the floor. At this point, the ref is just begging him, come on, get it in the ring. We don't want to see a count out here, so the ref convinces him to release the hold before the count out. Gargano teases the draping DDT from the apron to the floor, much like Ciampa did to him. So right now, Gargano's mind is not right. He's so obsessed, and he's not thinking straight. So finally, Gargano gets a sense of mercy, and instead of DDTing him, he tosses him back into the ring. But that was his undoing. Gargano is about to hit the running knee, and Dream is just goading him on. He's saying, do it, you're a failure. You can't do it. You're a Johnny Failure. So Gargano charges in with the knee, but Dream catches him in the fireman's carry into the Dream Valley driver, and the quick pin and the win at 15 minutes and 54 seconds. This was an absolutely awesome match. Go out of your way to watch this. If you're not watching NXT these days, I don't know what's wrong with you. It's the only WWE product that's out there right now that is worth its weight in anything. The close of the show, there's dueling chants of Johnny Wrestling and Johnny Failure. Gargano starts to mope as he's walking back through the side entrance, and the crowd is chanting the Hey Hey Goodbye song, and the credits roll, and that is the end of NXT for this week. So, another great show. Go out of your way to watch that main event. So that'll be it for me. Join me next week for another episode of NXT on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.